Okay, students, let us take poem 6, The Duck and the Kangaroo. The poet of this poem is Edward Lear. So, Edward Lear was an English artist, illustrator, author, and poet, renowned toward today primarily for his literary nonsense in poetry and prose, and especially his limericks, a form that he popularized. So actually he used to make a mock type of poems and proses, and his writings are mostly some a sort of mockery. They are all they are some of them are quite nonsense. That means, what is a nonsense poem or prose? When there is a form of light verse, usually for children, depicting imaginative characters in amusing situation of fantasy, whimsical in tone, and with a rhythmic appeal, often employing fanciful phrases and meaningless made up words. That means a nonsense poem or prose is when there are some light words. It is usually made for children, wherein all the imaginative characters are being depicted. Okay, they are all in their look wise, their in terms of their voice, in terms of their dialogues, they are all funny. They are all imaginary characters. Okay, in these kinds of poem or prose, you can find some of the words which are have got no meaning in the dictionary, but still they have been placed over there. Why? Just to match up with the rhythm or the you can say in this poem also it is in the scale type. Okay, so let's see the poem now. Poem 6, The Duck and the Kangaroo. Two friends, the duck and the kangaroo, are about to set out on a long pleasure trip. The kangaroo, though happy to carry the duck on the way on the tip of his tail, is wary of her wet feet. What will the duck do to make the kangaroo feel comfortable over land and sea? Let us find out how they go about it. Okay, now let us come to the stanza. Said the duck to the kangaroo, "Good gracious, how you hop over the fields and the water too, as if you never would stop. My life is a bore in this nasty pond, and I long to go out in the world beyond. I wish I could hop like you," said the duck to the kangaroo. So, in these lines, you can see the poet is showcasing the boredom experienced by the duck in his life. Okay, the duck is saying about the bored life he is facing right now. The duck praises the kangaroo, and the duck is fascinated to see that how the kangaroo hops, especially over the fields and water. The duck compares the kangaroo's life on life to his, and thinks that he has a boring life, forced to live in the pond. The duck longed to step out into the world and go around it, but to no avail. The duck could only wish and fancy that they he had the ability to hop. Life would be different and interesting. Okay, so this was the boredom being faced by him, and how he appreciated kangaroo for the benefits he had. "Please give me a ride on your back," said the duck to the kangaroo. "I would sit quite still and say nothing but quack the whole of the long day through, and we'd go to the the jelly bowly, over the land and over the sea. Please take me on a ride, oh do, said the duck to the kangaroo. Again, the words being said by the duck. So, this shows that duck is making an attempt to change his boring life into a very interesting and adventurous life. How? The duck thinks of a way to translate his boring life to something interesting. He asks Kangaroo to give him a ride on his back. The duck promises the kangaroo that he would not trouble him and not say anything except quack. The duck begins. They could. The duck. You can say begins to think of the places they might go to. He thinks that they could go to the D and the Jelly Boli. All actually these are all the name of imaginary places. Okay, they do not exist in reality. The duck would also then be free to go over the land and the sea. Then the duck almost pleads to kangaroo and that he might accept his wish. Okay. Said the kangaroo to the duck. This requires a little reflection. Perhaps on the whole it might bring me luck, and there seems but one objection, which is, if you'll be let me speak so bold, your your feet are unpleasantly wet and cold, and would probably give me the rheumatiz, said the kangaroo. So, in this you can see the poet highlights the kangaroo's apprehension in giving into the duck's request. The kangaroo tells the duck that he needs some time to think about the matter. He reflects that this proposal might bring him some luck. On the contrary, he thought that there was also a possibility that he might get unwell. He explains to duck his objection. The wet, cold and unpleasant feet of the duck might make him prey to disease like rheumatism. Okay, rheumatism, you can say it is one over here. It has been said that rheumatism is a type of disease wherein you can have pains in your joints. Said the duck, as I sat on the rocks, I have thought over that completely, and I bought 4 pairs of worsted socks which fit my web feet neatly, and to keep out the cold I have bought a cloak, and every day a cigar I'll smoke, all to follow my own dear true love of a kangaroo. So over here, in these lines, the poet shares the duck's enthusiasm in fulfilling the wishes. Okay, he is too much enthusiastic and too much excited to go on a tour with kangaroo sitting on the kangaroo's tail. Okay, so what is the solution he has taken now just to take care of kangaroo? The duck spent some time sitting on the rocks, meditating upon the nature of the problem they were about to face. So soon the duck was able to come up with a solution. What was that solution? He went to the kangaroo and told him that he has bought 4 pairs of woolen socks and a cloak in order to keep away the cold. Also, that he would daily smoke a cigar to keep himself warm and thereby avoid all problems of cold. Last, said the kangaroo, I am ready, all in the moonlight pale, but to balance me well, dear duck, sit steady, as quiet at the end of my tail. So away they went with a hop and a bound, and they hopped the whole world 3 times round. And who so happy, oh who, as the duck and the kangaroo. These concluding lines in this, the poet describes the happiness experienced by the duck and the kangaroo while they were traveling around the world. The kangaroo agreed to the solution offered by the duck. The kangaroo made the last warning, asking the duck to balance himself well and ride at the end of the kangaroo's tail. This way, they decided to go around the world, hopping from one place to another in complete happiness. So, this was the poem written by Edward Lear.